Hello, welcome to the Inner Noise, the podcast to get back to you. You know that moment when everything still looks normal, but your body already knows something has changed. You keep going, you answer to your messages, you're going to work, you smile around, you do what needs to be done. Keep showing up, you keep saying, I'm fine, you keep moving like nothing's wrong. And yet, something inside you is just getting tired. Not always physically, even though sometimes the body starts speaking too. Your jaw, your shoulders, your stomach, your sleep that never really restores you anymore. But mostly, it's this strange feeling like you're watching your own life from the outside. Like part of you, it's still functioning, but not really living anymore. And the strangest thing is, most people never notice because you've become very good at holding it together. But what are you actually holding together? A role? Expectations? The image people have of you? The version of yourself that keeps everyone comfortable? You hold the family together, the relationship together, the work together. Sometimes you hold everyone together except yourself. And after a while, you don't even realize how exhausted you are anymore because exhaustion becomes normal. Being tense becomes normal. Overthinking becomes normal. And surviving quietly, guess what? Becomes normal too. And maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe too many people have learned to call survival life. So you stay busy. You fill every empty space. You scroll, you go to work, you watch things, you listen to things, you keep the noise around you constantly. Music, videos, socials, notification, as if silence itself had become uncomfortable. And honestly, I think a lot of people are afraid of silence now because when things finally go quiet, you start hearing yourself again. And sometimes what you hear is painful: the exhaustion, the loneliness, the feeling that somewhere along the way you stopped recognizing yourself. Like your life still works on the outside, but no longer feels connected to who you really are. You know, some people never truly rest anymore. Even when they stop moving, the body is still, but internally, everything keeps running. The thoughts, the scenarios, the conversations replaying at 2 a.m., the endless what if, what if. Huh. And after years of living like that, people start believing this is just adulthood, as if carrying tension all the time was normal, as if constantly feeling drained was simply the price of being responsible. And what's heartbreaking is so many good people live like this now: sensitive people, caring people, people who give too much of themselves away, people who look completely fine from the outside, and yet something still feels heavy inside. And Sometimes that heaviness, it's not something to get rid of. It's something trying to reach you. Something that has been knocking quietly for years. And the more you ignore it, the louder your body becomes. A few years ago, someone said something to me that never left me. We were talking about this exact feeling, this inner noise people spend years trying to silence. And this person said, what if this isn't a crack to repair, but an opening? At the time, I didn't really understand. What? What, what is he talking about? An opening to what? But over time, I started to see it differently. Let's take an example. Imagine a house, a perfectly clean wall, perfectly solid. And one day, a crack appears. Your first instinct is to fix it immediately because cracks are scary. They make you feel like something is collapsing. But now, imagine getting closer, and through that opening, you notice light. Not a magical light, just a forgotten place, a forgotten space, a room inside yourself you closed a very long time ago. And sometimes this discomfort works exactly like that. Not as a weakness, as a doorway, as something inside you that no longer wants to stay buried. Let me tell you something about someone I worked with once. Let's call her Claire. 42 years old. She come to me in saying, I can't sleep properly anymore. I've got this knot in my stomach and I don't know what's happening to me. And while she was talking, I was looking at her and I noticed that she kept clenching her jaw. Her shoulders were completely tight. And she was still answering emails at 10:30 p.m. Still saying yes. You know that, yes, to everything. Still trying to manage everyone and everything, a kind of people pleaser, if we can say. Or at least she was trying to. And you know, what struck me most about her was not the exhaustion. It was the fact that she had been struggling for so long, she had started calling it coping. And honestly, I think a lot of people do this. They call self abandonment being strong. They call emotional exhaustions being responsible. They call surviving normal life. And at one point, I asked her, how long has your body been trying to tell you that something isn't working anymore? And suddenly, she broke down. Not dramatically, not like in a movie, just someone quietly collapsing because they were tired of carrying everything alone. And I think a lot of people know that feeling. Maybe you know it. Not necessarily dramatic breakdowns, just invisible exhaustions. The feeling of becoming a stranger to yourself. The feeling that your whole life has turned into performance. Little by little, Claire understood something. Her body wasn't betraying her, it was trying to bring her back to herself. And when she stopped fighting that signal, something slowly started shifting. Again, not a magical transformation, just more clarity. Decisions felt lighter, the body softened, relationship around changed, and most importantly, she slowly stopped living against herself. And honestly, I think this is what so many spiritual traditions were trying to say all along. Not become perfect, not become enlightened, not become better, just become real again. Just come back to something more honest, more alive. And that's exactly why Rumi touches me so deeply. Because when he speaks about wounds, he's not only talking about pain, he's talking about openings, about transformation, about the moment something breaks open inside you and finally lets light in. Rumi, he knew grief, loss, exile, disorientation. And when you read his poetry, you don't feel someone speaking from theory. You feel someone who has actually lived through something. Someone who knows what it feels like to lose direction, to search, to fall apart, to know, to not know who you are anymore. And yet, his words never become cynical. They stay deeply human, as if somewhere underneath all the pain, he still believed there was something alive waiting underneath the fracture. And honestly, I think that's what many people are really searching for today. Not becoming someone else, just finding their way back to themselves. A quieter breath, a calmer nervous system, a life that doesn't feel like endless survival. Because you can spend years functioning without ever truly feeling alive, and eventually the body starts saying what the mind still refuses to hear. Rumi wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Nice. And 8 centuries later, that sentence still reaches people deeply because somewhere inside we all know exactly what he meant. The body often knows long before the mind does. If this podcast resonated with you, you can simply come and have a look on my website. It's emmanuelberger.com. You'll find the free guide, Some Things Feels Off. And if you feel the need to talk, you can also book a free discovery session. Not to sell you something, just have a real conversation about everything. You were listening to The Inner Noise, the podcast to get back to you. Thank you, and see you next week.